Hi friends, my name is Dikchya Raut. I'm a lawyer who's based in Nepal, and for past 5 years I worked for development sector in the sector of human rights, girls education, gender equality, etc. But I also remembered today that I was a Chevening scholar once back in 2020, 2021, and I received my education in University of Sussex in international human rights law. And today I was just reflecting how COVID affected so many lives, as well as the life of me, who was a student back in London, and London was pretty strict about it. So when I was thinking about it, I checked out my previous video about the information I shared regarding eligibility criteria for this scholarship, and scrolling down under, they were pretty interesting questions that you had, and I feel like it would be helpful for me to answer all those questions for anybody who's aspiring to apply for the same scholarship. So before getting into the information, I would like to tell you a little bit about what the Chevening Scholarship is all about, and what kind of benefits do you get if you are a recipient of it. So Chevening Scholarship is provided by the Foreign Commonwealth Department in Britain, and it gives you an opportunity to study masters of 1 year in any colleges in London as you like, not London, but the whole of UK as you like. It could be the top-notch University of Oxford or Cambridge, Sussex, where I studied, etc., etc., right? So a lot of my friends are still in universities, or most of them have already passed. So it could be any university. It is fully funded. You don't have to pay a penny to complete the degree, as well as they also give you allowance. And how cool is that? Because you don't need to pay for any expenses, either whether it be the living expense or the studies or buying books or buying computer or whatever, I mean smartphones as you like, right? So who wouldn't want to get a scholarship like that? So I, back in 2019, was still a student. I hadn't gotten my bachelor's degree yet. I didn't have the certificate yet, but because a Chevening Scholarship requires 1 year journey just to find out whether you are selected for it or not, I started to fill out my application in 2019, and I think by the end of 2019 or 2020, early year is when I knew that I was finally accepted for it. And I made my journey to University of Sussex in September of 2020, and I graduated in September of 2021. So it's a 1 year course, like I said. So you had questions about the education criteria or the work experience, and what the life would look like when you are finally in the UK, and how to adjust, etc. So I wanted to begin by talking about the question that you had about the education qualifications, right? So some of you had questions about, hey Diksha, what is the kind of marks that you need to get? What is the GPA that you need to get, or percentile, in order to qualify for this scholarship? Hey, the scholarship is pretty straightforward. You don't need to have the top-notch percentage like distinction or first division or that kind. You just need to pass the bachelor's degree, and that's all the criteria you need. Something that the scholarship is really looking is somebody who has leadership skills, somebody who can make a difference in their community, somebody who might have an interest in politics or policy, or also community mobilization, youth leadership, those kind of area. So they are looking at the personalities rather than the paper that you want to submit. So to the friends that have low marks in your bachelor's or even master's, and feeling like you might not be eligible for the opportunity, you definitely are, and please give it a try. If you possess a leadership quality, or feel like you could harness the qualities that you already have into something meaningful later on when you finally come to the country. So that is done, and you also asked me about what kind of certificate do you need to upload in the scholarship application. Sorry about the disturbance. There is a street vendor in the street, kagaz bottle. So let me ignore that and tell you that you would require your SLC certificate or SE. I think that is what people call it these days. Your +2 transcript, your bachelor's transcript. If you have a master's, you can upload that, but for the scholarship, you don't necessarily need a master's degree. So that is something that you need to upload in the system when you finally apply for it. And the second questions were more related to the experiences. So in that bit, I think I got 4 questions, which is, hey Diksha, I have interned in a lot of places, but it didn't pay me. It wasn't a employee kind of situation. So can I still use that for my to show that I have work experiences? So Chevening Scholarship requires 2 years work experience prior to applying to this opportunity, right? So this experiences could be any volunteer experiences that you might have done in any youth organizations or any NGOs or any sort of private organization. It does not really matter, as long as you are able to show that there is something that you took away or learned from that experience. So internship, volunteer opportunity, whatever works. And so when you finally put it in the system that you actually have worked in this XYZ company, then you need to really give them a year and the hours that you put in each month or each week. So it does the calculations and convert into hours. So once it converts into hours, they really want to check whether you have done the full hours for 2 years, and that's it. If you have done a paid experience, that's totally fine. You can still put up your full-time experiences or part-time experiences in the system. Like I said, you just need to give them the year, the month that you work in there, and the system will do the whole thing. And so for some of the scholarship, like the Fulbright, I know that they demand full work experience once you have graduated from your bachelor's. So let's say if you graduated in 2020, you are only eligible to apply for the scholarship after 2022 onwards, or after that, right? Because they require bachelor's, so after the completion 2 years, and then you are eligible for the scholarship. But that does not apply to the Chevening. If you were doing any volunteer experiences or were engaged in organizations while still studying in bachelor's, for example, if you graduated in 2020 but you started volunteering for any organization back in 2017, and if that makes 2 full years or hours of you contributing to the program, that still counts. So as soon as you graduate from your bachelor's with 2 years of experience working somewhere, you can go ahead and apply. And that is something I did, and that is why I got this scholarship when I was still 24, and I graduated from a university when I was 23. So I didn't need to show them experience post bachelor's, if you get what I mean. But if you have any question, please feel free to put them down in the comments. And somebody asked me that they had worked outside Nepal, in India and elsewhere. Does that experience still count? Yes, it does, as long as you have contributed to any community or any work. That is totally fine. The only thing that you require is the work experience. And when you are finally writing your essays, you can show your work experience as leadership examples, where you might have undertaken any community leadership work. So that could translate to your leadership experience or leadership skill, and that is something you can show. Jurisdiction or geography does not really matter. And somebody also had asked me whether only people from the law background are eligible for this program. The answer is no. The scholarship is open to any individual who might come from different field, like IT, or somebody who's from agriculture. A lot of my friends were also from public health background. Somebody who's looking to do an MBA, I think it requires, they only cover a certain amount of expenses for MBA, and because MBA courses are usually very expensive, then any expenses further than what is covered has to be your personal expenses. Check that out in the Chevening website as well. So the answer is people from any kinds of background can apply for this scholarship. Does not need to be the law background. I was from law background, so that's why I share the experience from my own perspective, but that's not a strict criteria. So you asked me what about the recommendation letter? So the system when you are applying for the Chevening Scholarship requires you to upload recommendation letter from two different referees. So the referees that you are contacting, you can collect personally those recommendation letter and upload to the system. They won't upload to the system directly, that it does not allow. So if you're reaching out to a professor, reach them out in advance so they have enough time to write you that recommendation letter. Get it by yourself, print it out, scan it, and then upload in the system. It's that easy. So the third kind of questions were mainly about the requirements. What also goes in the system is unconditional letter. So after your interview is over, there is a certain date or timeline that is given in the system that you need to upload your unconditional letter by. So what I mean by unconditional letter is you need to be accepted from your university in order to qualify for this scholarship. So you need to receive the unconditional letter from your university in advance. So this timeline is usually after your interview is over. So once you are selected in the interview, you need to show the department, the scholarship, that you are also now eligible for the university. They have accepted you unconditionally, and then you upload, then the university sends you an unconditional letter, you upload in the system. That's all. So in the UK, so some questions were related to what happens after you go to UK, right? So you might have a wife or a husband and a children, some dependents with you. You can take your dependents to the UK. I remember my friend, not a friend but a senior, but now I call her a friend. So she also lived in the UK during her studies with her husband as well as her kid. So she enrolled her kid to a education center, and the dependent was there to help her out during her study session, and that's how she completed. So I'm aware that people can take their dependents to the UK when you are studying, and they could help you out or be dependent with you. And somebody asked me how is it like to adjust in the UK. Personally, for me, I feel like somebody who can cook and look after yourself in terms of health and food, you are totally fine. Especially in Nepal or South Asia, where the children are asked by their parents to only focus on their studies and not in the kitchen, is somebody I have seen struggling because they can't figure out where to shop in the groceries and what to eat. They can't handle both education and looking after themselves. So if you are somebody who is not equipped or hands-on in the kitchen department, I would say that please learn to make something, because eating outside every day is not healthy. One, two, super expensive, and you would want to save that money and go and visit some areas that is super cool in the UK, right? So do that. Adjusting is pretty fine. There are a lot of support within the university as well, and Chevening community is itself very supportive and very well connected. So they usually have a WhatsApp group, or your university might have more than 5. Usually my university had a lot of Chevening scholars from all around the world. So I mean, you wouldn't necessarily get somebody from Nepal, because from Nepal in a year only 7 to 10 people make it to the UK for their education, but from all around the world there are many, so you don't need to worry about that. Something that you will still cherish is the kind of friendship that you made outside Nepal, so that's not something that you need to really worry about. And I think that is all the questions that I had in the comment section. If you have more, please comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.